Welcome to the Capture Scratch Podcast, the show where we explore the worlds of film, television, and the creative process that brings stories to life. Today we're talking about the state of the industry. A lot of crazy stuff's been happening. Netflix buying Warner Brothers. What are the implications of this? Where are we going? And what does this mean for our Blu Ray collections, guys? Come on! But before all that doom and gloom, we're going to talk a little bit about gear and our favorite holiday films. Joey, how's it going, bud?
It's going fine. I guess it's going fine. It seems trivial and childish to be talking about our favorite holiday films at a time like this, but here we are. Let me just ask you, have you watched any holiday movies yet? And if so, what are they? And just tell me about some of your holiday traditions, Mike. I want to hear all about your holiday movies.
So normally I feel like I have more time to devote to that. Unfortunately, I have not watched really. I've been watching some stuff here and there, but they are not holiday movies. And I'm like, oh, I should probably watch holiday movies now that it's December 8th. But I haven't really gotten, unless, besides what my sweater has shown you, my thing sweater has shown you.
That's so great.
I've not got into the holiday spirit with movies yet. What about you, Joey? Have you watched any yet?
I watched A Very Jonas Christmas on
awesome.
Disney Plus. I was so curious about how that could be, and it's funny. It's kind of meta. It kind of reminds me of like Spice World a little bit, and I don't know. It was fun. It was kind of just like I just wanted to start off the season with something Christmassy.
Nice.
But
yeah.
I've been I don't know. It's been getting away from me. I can't believe it's already December 8th, our recording day for this right now.
Yep.
I'm probably gonna try to watch another one of my favorites tonight, I think. But I turned on another movie that I don't know if I'll be able to if I'll be able to do both. So, or if I'll be able to get away from watching that one that's currently paused. So we'll see.
Awesome. Sounds good.
What are some of your favorites though?
So yeah, I was just about to say some of my go-tos normally are the Home Alones, the 1 and 2, the 1-2 punch of Home Alone 1 and 2. Always just remember the days of being at my grandparents' house and being with my cousins, and we would just watch we watched Home Alone 2 actually a lot more than we did 1, but obviously 1 is a classic and brought us a lot of fun. It just it invokes that little bit of balance that we had in the 90s between wholesomeness and just complete awesome slapstick comedy. So
Yeah.
I see also on your list, Joey, that you had Home Alone as well. So I'm glad it's one
Home
of yours.
Alone. I mean, it's not. I feel like the red and green motif that they have in there, they really decorate that set and the props so well.
Oh, that house.
There's a lot of there's a lot of paper. Like when he's moving the presents from under the bed when he's hiding from the doorbell. I don't know. There's just a lot of tactile feeling to that movie that says Christmas to me. The way they run in the snow and then they feel a lot of the snow. You see a lot of snow melting in their hands. It's a real you feel that movie, and I love Home Alone. I think I like the first one better than the second. I'm still on the fence on if I think it's an actual remake, like some people like to say. What do you think about that? Do you think Home Alone 2 is just technically a remake of the first?
It could feel like that at times, but I think there's enough difference in the location being in New York and having the setting itself tell the story. Again, we like to talk about on this podcast, the setting is a lot of times the character. So
true. New York is a character. They are absolutely right.
So it's they went from the suburban Chicago neighborhood in the first one to then being oh, now we're gonna be in New York City.
I think that inherently makes it a little bit different then, because there is a total different feel to it. He is doing a lot of the same stuff, but it's kind of well, he's a kid. I mean, he's only a year older. What do you want to do? Right. How much could he have changed? And
also the fact that it's oh, I'm doing what I want to do in my house. Sure, of course. But then I'm doing what I want to do in a really fancy hotel room as a kid. Can you imagine the room service and then just ordering all these movies and all that stuff? So I think and also Tim Curry, which is so memorable.
Tim Curry.
I'm just gonna say Tim
Curry.
Curry. That's all I need to say.
A god amongst film. Just like,
Yes.
oh god. I mean, the whole hotel staff is a argument against that in itself because there's no equivalent to that in the first one at all.
Right.
And they're a big part of the whole movie.
Yeah, and like that was a great foil to have, like, because like literally Kevin was home alone in the first one, and then in the second one, he has this foil to kind of like, and then they did a good job transporting the TV gag. Where there was like he had the TV and it was like he was acting as like the guest and he's yelling at him from around the wall and stuff. So like I think that was a good way to reincorporate, but to tell it in a different way and do it in a different way, and that made it a memorable piece on its own as well.
I love the TV scene where, sir, I believe you're mistaken.
Sir, I believe you're mistaken. And then like
Tim Curry is so funny in that.
The first one too, when he's like, you animal, you dirty rat animals. I love, that was just a good like, little bit of comedic gold there as well. Just to kind of like elevate those scenes and make them really stand out and be funny. So
those are great classic ones. You know what's a more recent one, which is not so recent anymore, and the years are just going by. It's 10 years ago already, but a recent one that I really, really love that's become a holiday tradition for me.
What's that?
Is The Night Before.
I
Seth
saw
Rogen,
that on your list.
Anthony Mackie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So it's kind of that like creative like comedy team. It infuses a lot of like jokes, kind of spoofing holiday movies, but there's real heart in it. There's real like holiday magic, but it's very Seth Rogen type humor. So there's this adultness to it. It was right kind of at the end of the Seth Rogen comedy group's reign in 2015, and it just kind of flew under the radar a little bit, but it's a really terrific Christmas movie for anyone who's above 20, anyone who's above like 24. I would say it's like a really nice young adult like Christmas movie.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I've never really heard of it. Like you said, it got slipped up to the I didn't even know this movie existed. But
I think it's one of Anthony Mackie's like best movies. He is so funny in it. There's even like callbacks like The Grinch, and there's like a woman wearing like almost like a Grinch type outfit in it, and it's like it's very subtle. So you have to realize it because they mention it, and you're like, oh wow, she looks like the Grinch too. I wouldn't have even put that together, but it's. Yeah. I think you would really like it. It's definitely, I would say it's like our college humor.
Right, exactly. And I mean, it was a kind of a product of that time. It looks like it came out in 2015, right? So, a little bit of, I mean, obviously we were out of college by that point, but like around a little bit after that, when we were in college, and it had that like
exactly. It's reminiscent. Humor. Pretty reminiscent of 50-50 in a way because of the Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen team up. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt, all three of them are very main characters. It's not like Seth Rogen's the main character and these two are part of it. All three of them are very equally part of it. It all takes place on Christmas Eve. A tradition of like three friends getting together for Christmas Eve and doing like all the stuff in New York together. And it's so fun. It's a really, really cool one. I would definitely recommend
I definitely got to check it out now. Jeez.
Yeah, it's a good one. Aside from that, other more traditional ones that I always watch, Muppets Christmas Carol, that's on every single year. Michael Caine took that super seriously, and I have so much respect for him. Yep. And The Santa Claus is another big one that I always have to watch. I love The Santa Claus. I was going to say, The Santa Claus is a must every year. I mean, that Tim Allen is great. He like rings so much like, snarky, just like really pessimistic vibes to that role, and it like works so well because again his character's arc, of course, but just like all his like little like one-liners and like just his whole vibe is spot on in that film. He is so like sarcastic. I love like they fly from one house to the other and he's, well, we made good time. It's like he can't even get somewhere fast without this guy making a joke about it. He is so funny. Or like when they're going on the road and they pass the trucker and he's like, if we take the straight, does this bring us to I-94? I hope I'm that chilled out about and that comedic in that situation if that's happening to me one day.
I know, this whole thing's happening around him. He like the whole time is just like make these really snide comments, and it's so good. And I mean, just like that film, it felt a lot like Home Alone's type of humor as well, where it was very like it was very magical scene and magical time of year, but also could be a little like a little pessimistic sometimes, and a little bit of, like, kind of in a fun way, in a sarcastic way, like you said. That was really a good descriptor for it.
Yeah. Do you have any others or your favorite of the year or anything else before we move on to the much darker chapter of our podcast today? Jesus.
Well, it's not really a Christmas movie, but I'm going to just again, my sweater. I'm going to keep going back to my nice things sweater, and I got this email from this company called Creator VC, which is like they make a lot of like documentaries about like horror and sci-fi through the decades. So like the 70s, 80s, 90s, they have a documentary series on each one. I have the one from the 80s that they did, and because I'm on their mailing list, and they have this petition, and I'll even try and link it in the YouTube description, to have the thing be officially named as a Christmas movie. And they did a lot of fun like little things with they like added like Christmas card stylings to a lot of frames from the movie, like a lot of the transformation scenes and stuff. It was a really fun little gag there. So so that's the thing. It's like literally I would just say that I want to just have that on my list just to say that I want to watch The Thing again. I love The Thing. It's one of my favorite horror movies, and like I know it's a lot of people do have that on their list, and for good reason. Obviously, John Carpenter is a big. I'm a number one fan of John Carpenter, and that movie, it takes place in such a snowy, barren environment. It is such a downtrodden film that I almost feel like it, like okay, we're gonna need to just call it a Christmas movie to make it a little more cheery.
Yeah, no, it definitely. I'm also a fan of watching stuff that, even if it's not necessarily about the holiday, it kind of falls within the time frame of the holiday or has elements of it. Like I watch Fantastic Mr. Fox a lot around Halloween time, even though it's definitely not a Halloween movie in any way, shape, or form. But it's very orange and it's very fall.
Yeah.
And actually, one of my favorite holiday movies, that's the one I'm planning to watch tonight, but will probably get pushed to tomorrow night by accident, is The Holdovers. I think we talked about this a little bit last year, but it is definitely more centered around the holidays. But the fact is, it's about the holiday vacation and a teacher and student who are stuck at the school together. I work in a boarding school. Actually, Paul Giamatti from that film went to the boarding school that I work at, so I think there was some partial influence from that maybe, and it's very reminiscent of it, so it's very cozy. I see what the school looks like that time of year, and it just reminds me of the holidays, and it's another great one you can watch. I'm a big rewatcher, so you can watch it over and over again leading into Christmas, and maybe even a little bit after, but it's a real nice one that doesn't hit the holidays over the head, but has some really beautiful, wholesome moments, and it's one of my new favorites. I watch it every year now since it's come out.
I mean, I love that I haven't actually seen The Holdover, so again, I'll have to give that one a watch for sure. But what do you think about that in relation to like a film like Die Hard, being a Christmas movie, and like, is that
I think, okay, so here's what I think about the Die Hard Christmas thing. I've said it on Cup of Joe once that I kind of look at Batman Returns as a Christmas movie, so I think you have to say that Die Hard's a Christmas movie if you say that. But also, I think this is the year, Mike. I think this year, 2025 Christmas 2025, is the year that has been talked about so much that it's officially, you can't talk about it without the discussion of if it's a Christmas movie. So now it officially is a Christmas movie. The fun is ruined because we're not even arguing about it anymore because we talked about it so much that we can't associate it without Christmas.
So it's like anybody who is like Die Hard that it's a Christmas movie, you're all set.
It's the same thing with Mariah. The same thing with Mariah Carey.
Oh my God.
And now it's like I hate it. I know. I hate it too. But it's the same thing with Mariah Carey being all like, oh, she's melting. And now people are doing it even before Halloween. And it's just like, enough. And I don't care. And I like Sabrina Carpenter's Christmas album better. I love Sabrina. Sorry. I'm getting off topic. But yeah, so I said what I said. Okay, there.
You hear here
something now. I have like a tear here on my pancreas, Mike. Jeez.
I know, right? This is giving me an ulcer. All this craziness. Speaking of craziness, here we go. There's our transition. If you wanted one, into thoughts on.
Let's talk about it.
Netflix buying Warner Brothers.
What do you think?
And as of our filming here on December 8th, we got the news too that Paramount is doing a hostile takeover bid of $108 billion to try and match the deal that Netflix has put on the table. So, and according to the article I was reading, I think it's actually a Canadian CBC article that was saying basically Warner Bros. will see the deal, will like take a look at it, but like they're not, there's no decision being made by the company whether they're going to go Paramount or Netflix as of this time.
Yeah.
So, I see in your notes, in our notes, you said F Paramount. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I just feel like Paramount had, while like I said, released the Avatar. While they have, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of political backing with Paramount that I think is ugly, and I think there's already a lot of stuff in the political world that's really overstepping a lot of boundaries and infusing their influence over it, and it's like, leave our stories alone.
Right.
So they scare me, truthfully. I really kind of believe Netflix was the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
I truthfully do think Universal would have been the best option, because I don't think it would have changed much. I think Universal kind of reminds me of Warner Brothers in a way. They're kind of two old school studios that have been around forever. Yeah. They both have a lot of like park value, and it's almost a shame that it wasn't Universal. But I definitely, I don't hate Netflix. I've never hated Netflix. I think there's a lot of discourse over the theater stuff and what Netflix quality looks like, but I think there's varying ranges of quality in Netflix, and I think there's opportunity. I think there's a lot to be talked about and worried about, though, and it's a whole new world. And also, at least it wasn't Disney. Like, I mean,
I don't think the USJ would have let it be Disney, but
yeah, right. But but that's what I'm saying too. It's like, I mean, I guess it could have been worse, but now we're these streamers and we're getting less and less options, and we're getting closer and closer to monopolies, which is scary.
And that's why the DOJ has to step in order to make sure that there's an the antitrust aspect of it. One thing that I did want to kind of bring up on the subject of the way that streaming is going to affect this was the Variety article, or the again, it's like the image we saw on Instagram from Variety. Basically, they were talking about the CEO of Netflix and his the way he described it. Warner Brothers movies will remain in theaters, but they will remain in windows that will evolve to be much more consumer friendly. And I didn't like that wording. I didn't really like the way that he said that. Because it sounded very like, I mean, and I know he's a businessman, he's a CEO, so he's going to say it in a very business oriented fashion, but just saying it in that way makes like completely devalues the whole going to the theater aspect, in my opinion. I think, it's not a rush to get it to as many eyes as you can get on it. It's more to have it in theaters long enough so folks can go and see it in the theater and then enjoy it again in the theater if they wanted, or, make sure that they can get their friends. Oh, make sure you can go see it. Oh, I'm not free this weekend or the next weekend, but I want to go the following weekend. Make sure that it has a successful theater run, to say that you've been in a national theater run for longer than just like a week. And then you're on a streaming platform where everybody can see it, where everybody's going to just watch it on their phone, or everybody's just going to watch it from their iPad, and they're not going to take it in the way that it was meant to be filmed. I mean, I'm just going to use Sinners because it's actually on this thumbnail, and I think that would be one of the films that would have been insanely like butchered if they didn't have the theater run that they had.
Yeah, I mean, look at like Prey and Predator Badlands.
Right.
The lesson they learned from that, and I think they have to be considerate of the projects that they're putting out there. I don't like the term consumer friendly either. It's kind of like content versus stories.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot to that there. I mean, you could look at us doing this. It's like, I would argue that this is more content, but I think you and I have done things that are more film. And
right.
And what's the line between that? I definitely think because of COVID, because of how theaters are already changing, to be optimistic, do you think there's any opportunity for that to make the movie more of an event? Like, only out in theaters for this amount of weeks, And I guess what I would like to see them do is like, hey, just don't put it on streaming for a while, you know?
Yeah.
Make those 3 or 4 weeks it's out there the only 3 or 4 weeks we're going to get for like 5 months or something like that.
I would love that, actually. I think that would definitely incentivize folks to go and see the film first. And then even if you can't see it the first week, you have a solid month and a half maybe of run, like a 4 to 6 week run window. And then, then there is a little bit of like like they used to do that anyway. Like that was just how it went to theaters.
Well, because they had to print them to DVDs back then.
Well, yeah. And I think that natural like cool down period of like, oh, and then there's another movie that comes out and they kind of overlap. And then in the fall, you're like, oh, wait, that movie came out on DVD. That's great. I love that. Or now it's on streaming. Like, that's awesome. You know, like that, there's that anticipation again to then now I can watch it in my home whenever, you know, and I have my nice sound system or I have my nice whatever, and I'm going to watch it there, or I'm just going to watch it on my phone because it's more convenient. But at least you saw it in the theater, you know, you got the theater experience.
You know what? I think we have we're experiencing a symptom of being born in 1990 and 1991? 1992?
Yep. 1991.
And we're used to, 6 months later going to Blockbuster. Holy crap, this movie's out. I almost forgot this existed. This is so great. And,
hell yeah.
And I do miss it. And it was a great time. But I feel like it's going to be hard because it's like, what's the justification for not putting it out? But I do think them so quickly putting stuff out onto streaming when you're not giving it any kind of wait time, it's really interesting because it's like all they have to do is hold it back.
Right.
But it's making us not excited for it. Like, I'm even feeling it myself. When I go to theaters, there are times like, oh, I almost wish this one was just at home, And I don't feel that for all of them, but I do wish they were more thoughtful about what they did put out there. Like, Prey not going to theaters was a crime.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the slippery slope that I don't want to continue, is to say, oh, well, this film, even if it's like, oh, they did a couple of test screenings and the film didn't do well in the test screenings, so it's like, let's just put it onto the streaming platform because it's not going to do well in theaters. That I don't like, where they're making these analytic decisions, and now that Netflix owns Warner Brothers, they can just be like, well, this is just going to be a streaming only. And I mean, again, Netflix creates great content that they do have just on their streaming platforms. They didn't do a theatrical release for a lot of their Amazon, I almost said Amazon originals. They're Netflix originals, but like, you can't do that with all films. And Warner Brothers, between the Warner Brothers produced films, the HBO high-end TV that they have, right, the rights to, nothing's going to be safe. I mean, I don't know. The theater needs to be protected. I think it needs to be held in a regard.
I think it will.
I think there's going to be enough pushback. There's already seems like there's enough pushback on by folks. So I think that even if Netflix did buy Warner Brothers, I think they would make the right decisions and still have the runs. It's just, let's make sure that this doesn't become a trend that now in like 5 years they're like starting to slowly like get us to, okay, well, we're just going to now have it on streaming. You're not going to even be able to see it in the theater.
I don't think they'll do that. We've already seen them start to experiment with that more than they ever have in the whole Knives Out series and Irishman, and working with experienced directors that have like demanded it, and like Martin Scorsese, but I think there's definitely opportunity for it, and I think also we're living in a time frame that it's not the birth of the streaming wars anymore. We've seen what happens. Like Disney, I think Disney and Marvel and Star Wars are a great example of what it means to demystify the brand by oversaturating it in the market. And Marvel is pulling back significantly. Star Wars pulling back significantly on shows. So hopefully, stupider things have happened in the world. So I don't know that, I can't say that it's not possible, but hopefully they take a page out of this very recent history book and try to understand, like, hey, there is reason to put it into the theater market and to have it live there for a little bit and pull some money back, and especially for how much money that these things cost to make. But I mean, now they have a whole studio to back them. They have money coming from other places now, so who knows what's going to happen.
And honestly, like, I think the fact that Christopher Nolan wants to meet with Netflix and talk to them about it and like make sure that directors are heard, and then the heads of SAG-AFTRA, Sam Astin and SAG-AFTRA, he wants to meet with them too and talk to them, and basically they don't want it to be just like, okay, well, now a company's buying another company and now they're going to do everything their own way. it's that, I mean, it's a whole culture, the way that the American, cinema world has become, and Hollywood itself, it's been done this way for so long, and it's been done that way in a way, and it's not like we need to change it. It doesn't need to change, so it shouldn't change. And I think that's what directors like Christopher Nolan and the DGA and SAG and all these different union organizations, protecting people's jobs too, because there's the worry that with the merger, there's going to be redundancies. There's going to be a lot of redundancies, so there's going to be a lot of layoffs, and like protecting people's livelihoods is important as well. So like with a wave of a wand now, they're going to lose their job. That's crazy. So
I truly hope that doesn't happen, and that they just keep it a separate entity, keep the people in there, keep it running the same. Like, if you're going to produce the same amount of stuff.
Do you think HBO is going to stay? HBO Max and stuff is going to stay?
I think so, in a way, because HBO Max came back from being Max, and people realized the benefit of HBO's brand itself, and what it did to it, changing that in the first place. And I think, I don't know, I mean, HBO's still to this day, with their miniseries and things that they're putting out, have still showcased that they know what they're doing and choosing the stories they want to tell. So I feel like it'd be really
They were always like the cinema on the TV, and that was like the premium cable brand that they've fostered again. And they've been around for what, like 25, 30 years or something like that. So like,
I think,
something like that. And so like that. You look at Warner Brothers being, decades old, and HBO even more recently, like even though they're they are both pinnacles of their respective mediums. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe just keeping it around for the sake of PR's sake, seeing it out there as a separate entity, it might kind of like over time psychologically trick people into thinking like, oh, I mean, it's still its own brand, and I don't know how they do that.
We haven't done a lot.
like Netflix will still have access to all their content, so I don't know if that means like everything from old stuff will go onto Netflix. Will Westworld finally have a home? Westworld's nowhere, which is such a shame, because the first season was great.
So I mean, there is a case to be brought there. It's like, yes, if currently a certain show isn't on anything because of any red tape with the way it's distributed now and stuff like that, there won't be when Netflix owns it. It'll be like, it's just on Netflix now. Or maybe they do put it on Max because it was an HBO property, and like you said, they want to keep the brand recognition there, even though they're still pulling the strings and running everything. Yeah,
it's really interesting. It's like Disney and Hulu. It's like, it's weird Disney how they split them.
Yeah,
but it's like, it makes sense because stuff that they put on Hulu, I'm like, I wouldn't see that. I wouldn't watch. I don't think I'd notice Alien Earth going to Disney. So that might be more of a thing that it's like they might more genreify it or ageify it based on that. I don't know. Netflix and HBO definitely have a very different feel, but there's definitely stuff on Netflix that think could have been on HBO, like The Crown.
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot of titles that probably would have went to HBO. And I mean, Netflix in its own right became a high end TV. A lot of their shows are great. So,
and I also think Netflix pulls out a lot of stuff that people wouldn't necessarily have found otherwise. Like, and that's another reason why I'm glad that they hopefully still beat out Paramount for it, is like, man, you see a lot of like LGBT content coming out of Netflix because they're not afraid to put whatever the heck they want to put out. And it's like, geez, I'm a little afraid of what it's going to look like if they lost, or if somebody else got a hold of it, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, and who didn't have such a open view of I mean, they just put out what they and again, there are a lot of them are numbers and they're just doing data stuff, but like that's good, and that kind of gives like a nice well-rounded catalog of stuff. And sometimes there are the hits and misses and that kind of thing.
Even if it's data, that's all the better, because the math doesn't lie is telling us that the world is diversified and different and full of all fucking different types of people. And you can't fucking argue with math. You're going to have to bleep some of
Math's
these.
Math's like pretty much the only thing you can't argue with.
Sorry. It's a heated subject.
It is a heated subject for sure. So we definitely, everybody who's listening in here, definitely let us know. This is a big deal for anybody who appreciates film or works in film. We want to hear what you guys have to say about this. This and this episode is going to go out later than what we're talking about now, so there'll be a lot more updates there. But definitely let us know your opinions as soon as you see this episode. We definitely want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, we definitely want to. I feel like I finally understand people who collect vinyls.
Dude, I was like that's gonna be a whole new can of worms. The physical media, man. That's why I like the way A24 is doing it. Every time I buy one of their Blu-rays, and I get the streaming on my app, so I can.
You
watch
might
it
as well be an ad for A24. Ever since
Not
that
sponsored.
A24 episode, you've been A24 crazy.
I've been
This is
A24
insane.
crazy, dude. I'm an A24 convert over here. You know, from the church of
A24
A24.
Neon, these small little independent type I love them so
I think
much.
that's we're gonna have to
Great.
start putting our money into independent studios like A24. I'll even say, like, there's other ones obviously, but the way that they're doing it, I actually really appreciate. And again, they're not their model isn't going to get rid of physical media. It encourages you to get the Blu-ray or and they also have a lot of physical like memorabilia and stuff like that, which I mean that stuff always sells, but just making sure that you have being able to own a film on a Blu-ray or a DVD or, like you said, a VHS tape, whatever you can get. That's actually coming back too. A lot of folks are getting getting VHS tapes, and like a lot of companies are making VHS tapes of films and stuff. So I think that's really cool. I love that home media itself.
I think that was a little weird. That one's a little strange. Those things deteriorate, and it's just like the quality is just not. Just get a Blu-ray. Stop. It's just like we hit the pinnacle. Like that was it.
But what if
It
you
was
want to watch
Blu-rays.
it with all the degradation?
I don't want to watch the degradation.
The way God.
I don't know. I guess there are other people out there. Fine. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I might get a Blu-ray DVD player, but I'm not getting a VHS player. I'm not going
Get
back.
an HD DVD player. Could you imagine?
Stop. I'm gonna get you a Betamax for Christmas.
Yeah, right.
I've never seen one in real life. I think that was like right before we were.
Yeah, dude, that was
before our
80s special
consciousness
right there.
developed.
Laserdisc. There you go.
Going
Get a laser disc player. The discs are this big. We're really dating ourselves here, Joey.
Well, we're not that old.
I'm just
We've seen a lot of stuff, but I mean, for music, we started with tape. Really, I mean, I think our generation liking vinyl is just for show. It's just silly. We never even knew what it was. We never used it before. We used tape players.
Now I have a bunch of vinyl records. I'm one of those guys. I love the tactileness of physical media. What can I say? And physical media throughout the decades. I'm not just partial to DVDs. I'm not just partial to Blu-rays.
No, records are pretty cool, and especially now that they all have like liquid in them. That's really fun.
Absolutely.
You ever see those? The ones with the water in them?
Yeah, those are actually pretty cool. Like, I mean, honestly, just pressing them into as many different colors and different styles. Have you ever seen a vinyl record get pressed? Oh, it's so cool.
I have, yeah. They do it on Poker Face too. You should check that out.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I'll have to,
Yeah, they do it. There's an episode that revolves around it, but it is really neat, and it's kind of cool too. Like it's truly so physical. Like it's like the grooves in it. It's not like a laser disc or anything like that. It's
awesome.
like you can literally play the thing without electricity if you wanted to. So
Yeah,
I do respect it.
If you turn the volume on the amplifier all the way down, you'll still hear. You just have to put your ear next to the needle, but you'll hear the music.
Well, I hope we survive this media apocalypse, Mike. I really do.
Yeah, I do too, man. It's definitely going to be some interesting times coming up, and we're gonna have to see how it all plays out. But I do want to say to our listeners, thank you so much for watching the Capture Scratch Pod. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, like, and comment to share your thoughts on today's very controversial topic. And stay tuned for our next episode where we talk about our favorite films and shows from 2025. Until then, take care, watch movies, and always check your Capture Scratch. See you guys later.
Ta-dum.